And now we're back. So, yeah, here we are, 2020, super weird year. I have never stormed the stage as Dorsey wants to do. I always wanted to storm the stage. I think storming anything is pretty fun. But instead, I have a couple other little props that I'm proud of. Like the old $1 million rep, right? You know, BMC, that was my distributorship. You know, nice wood plate. It's obviously not up on the wall. I have some other stuff up on the wall that y'all can see back there. This is my garage, so my other office besides the OR. The old $1.5 million rep. Anyway, that's really all I have. A couple more, like some other certificates that are kind of neat. But obviously, we're all in sales to do well. You know, President's Circle is one of the cool things about it. I remember when I started with Wright, a couple weeks into it, I flew down to San Diego. You know, I was supposed to spend a week down there. I had coverage in my territory. Pretty cool. First guy I meet was Ovi. You know, he's running around with a three-piece suit under his scrubs. He's driving me around in his Lexus. And I'm like, wow, look at this guy. You know, had it all together. At least it seemed like it. And then, you know, I was supposed to work with a couple of the large joint reps. Worked with a couple of those guys. And then I was supposed to call this girl, Shannon. I'm like, Shannon, okay, Shannon, yeah. So I call her, you know, hey, it's Duran, you know, I'm new. Doesn't call me back. This was on a Tuesday. So I flew down Sunday. Nothing, okay. So I have nothing to do. I go to San Clemente, hang out on the beach. I don't get to the beach very often. All right. Called her again Wednesday. Hey, you know, just trying to check out some cases, pick your brain. Okay. Didn't call me back. I'm like, all right, fine. Go to the hub there, not the hub, but their distributorship. Meet Shannon Meyer, Anmar. I think I met Kevin. You know, Kevin's like got his beats, doing his thing in the background. Met Sean. You know, he imparted some wisdom early on for me, which is like I take to heart every day, which is pretty cool. Yeah, so I've never heard from Shannon. You know, fast forward to the 1099 W-2 fiasco, depending on who you ask. And so all of a sudden, Shannon's my like regional manager or whatnot. So we meet at some fancy restaurant in San Francisco, and I'm like, okay, you know, kind of over it, but didn't really have a choice. Didn't want to sell large joints because, you know how that stuff goes. So she's there, and my manager, John Thrasher at the time, they present me with this salary, and I'm like, no way, like, not happening. Totally go to John, bypass Shannon. It's kind of a funny story. But anyway, you know, now Shannon, she's like my mentor. I look up to her. She's helped me out so much, you know, with Wright Medical. She's brilliant, and I'm really glad that, you know, I've been under her wing for mine, basically, well, certainly since we went to W-2, so that's awesome. So I'm doing this for you, Shannon, as you know. Anyway, so why sales? You know, my grandpa started out selling automotive parts in Southern California back in the 50s. Kind of like a black sheep, you know, selling brake pads and whatnot. Then he sold potato chips. He was a Granny Goose potato chip distributor for a long time. Then they moved to Idaho and sold beef jerky. And as a kid, I'd go up and ride around in his van and go to gas stations and bowling alleys and whatnot. And I was like, this is kind of cool, you know. Every day is different. You don't have to go to a certain place every day and do the same thing over and over. And then sold candy and all kinds of stuff, whatever. So he kind of started it. My dad, my biological father, he sold cars in the Bay Area. And I think he sold real estate. And he sold concrete. Pretty sure when him and my mom were living in Tahoe, he was selling drugs. And then, you know, when it was time to go to college, it's like, well, what are you going to study? I didn't know. So I got my degree in marketing. And it's proved me well. I learned some stuff there. So that's why sales. I think to be a successful rep or a successful salesperson, not necessarily a rep, you have to know your stuff. Like you can't BS a BSer, for sure. And you just have to be somebody that somebody wants to hang out with. I mean, literally in this job, I feel like you're hanging out with a surgeon and their the crew, the OR crew. And if they don't want to hang out with you for an hour or hour and a half, then, I mean, you're not going to get any traction with anything. So I always try to treat, everybody in the room with respect, everybody in the hospital with respect. I remember everybody's name. I think that's proven to be helpful for me over my career. And yeah, I guess that's that part. As far as the striker acquisition, initially I remember Benander called me. He's all, dude, we're getting acquired by Striker, and I'm like, because as a Right Medical in certain markets, like at least in our market here in Sacramento, it's like we've been flying under the radar like the entire time. People look, oh look, it's the Right Medical guy. Nobody uses their stuff. They don't make any money, and it's like, okay, yeah, sure. So initially I was like, damn, well, the inevitable. It's not like I have any control over any of it, right? So I can't do anything. And then I look at like, well, who could acquire us? J&J. I worked for J&J selling Acuvue, right? So then we'd have to like live by the credo, which is weird. Smith and Nephew, that's just like a dumpster fire. It seems like to me, at least in our market. Zimmer Biomet, same kind of deal. So I mean, Stryker's kind of the obvious, the other obvious player in the game, and I think we'll see more consolidations in the industry, as time goes on. I know the Stryker guys pretty well. They've been around for quite a while here in SAC. There's not too much turnover, at least the main guy, and we get along. And I think for my business and his business, it's going to be a good synergy. We do a lot of big cases, do a lot of bio. He does a bunch of little cases. So I think as a company and as a sales force, at least locally for me, it's a win-win, which is good. I asked him, we've shared cases over the years. So after all this news broke down, it's like, I asked him, what do you guys do? And he was like, what do you guys do? And I'm like, we do X, he does Y. So in terms of like interviewing, we did more. So I'm like, well, I'm interviewing you, bud, not the other way around. But, I hope that all the marketing groups and all the folks that I've worked with over the years back in Memphis and, throughout, everybody just has some good synergies and we become stronger as an organization. That's my take on the acquisition. I don't know how it's all going to shake out, as most of us don't, but, we'll figure it out. It's just what we have to do. I kind of just live by this thing of, work hard, try to be honest, and try to have fun. So that's pretty much what I wake up thinking about every day. That's about it. Short and sweet. I know some of your other videos were longer, but Shannon knows how I'm with videos. I will go just show real quick, just in case you guys need any assistance with anything. The infamous SAC hub here. So we got, pretty much everything we need. So if you guys have some weird stuff that you can't get a hold of, just let me know, because might have you covered. Have a good one.